Now let's get into some of our top stories from across Texas. A search effort is growing for a missing woman who took a trip to Houston. Sydney Marquez hasn't been seen since Thursday, December 11th. She's from El Paso, but was visiting her friends in Houston. Sydney's father got a call from those friends saying they couldn't find her. What they did find was her abandoned car in a tire shop parking lot. Surveillance cameras caught her walking through that parking lot, then going down the sidewalk. Sydney's dad is hoping someone can offer clues about her disappearance.
A 24-year-old neuroscience graduate vanished in Houston after abandoning her car with the engine running, her phone inside, and all her belongings left behind. Sydney Marquez was last seen on surveillance footage walking alone at night near a hotel where her father was desperately searching for her. She was just 150 yards away from him, and then she disappeared. 5 days later, witnesses reported seeing her at a bus stop with two men who stopped her from using a phone. She may have boarded a metro bus going north, or she may have walked into the darkness and never been seen again. This is the Sydney Marquez case. She's been missing for 19 days. Her family is begging for answers, and every hour that passes makes finding her alive less likely. This is an active case. Sydney could still be out there. Subscribe to CSI Crime Archives and help us spread the word. Who is Sydney Marquez? Sydney Marquez is 24 years old from El Paso, Texas. She's 5 feet 4 inches tall, 120 pounds, with brown eyes and reddish-brown hair. She has a 4-leaf clover tattoo on her left wrist. But those physical details don't tell you who Sydney really is. She graduated from Texas A&M University in 2023 with a degree in neuroscience. Think about that. Neuroscience isn't an easy major. It requires dedication, intelligence, and years of hard work. Sydney had that drive. Her family describes her as passionate, kind, determined, and driven. She's the youngest of 4 daughters. Her mother, Luz Marquez, says Sydney was a bright, happy person who loves her family. She had plans. She had a future. She left a lot of things behind in El Paso, things she planned to come back to. But there's something else you need to know about Sydney. About a year ago, she was diagnosed with late-onset bipolar schizophrenia. This diagnosis changed everything. Mental illness doesn't care about your accomplishments. It doesn't care that you graduated with a neuroscience degree or that you have a loving family. It changes how your brain processes reality. According to her family, Sydney had recently not been consistently taking her medication. And when someone with bipolar schizophrenia stops taking their medication, their behavior changes. Their perception of reality shifts. They may become paranoid, confused, or disoriented. Sydney's father, Raul Marquez, told authorities that she has wandered off alone before. This wasn't the first time mental illness had caused her to behave in ways that scared her family. But this time, she didn't come back. Does that mean Sydney left voluntarily? Maybe. Does it mean she's in danger? Possibly. Does it mean someone took advantage of her vulnerable state? That's what her family fears most. What we know for certain is that Sydney went to Houston to visit friends in early December. It was supposed to be a normal trip. Instead, it became every parent's worst nightmare. The disappearance. December 11th, 2025. Houston, Texas. Sydney was visiting friends in the city. At some point that day, she was able to sneak away in a friend's car. Why she took the car, where she was trying to go, what was going through her mind, none of that is clear. She drove for several hours. Then, in the evening, she abandoned the vehicle in a parking lot along Bel Air Boulevard near the 9100 block. The car was still running. The keys were inside. Her cell phone was left in the car. For someone who relies on technology to navigate, communicate, and stay connected, leaving your phone behind is significant. Sydney's family says this was completely out of character for her. But here's what makes it even stranger. She also left her iPad, her class ring from Texas A&M, and her clothing at the hotel where she'd been staying. Everything that identified her, everything that connected her to her life, was abandoned. Why would someone leave everything behind? Was Sydney experiencing a mental health crisis that made her believe she needed to disappear? Was she confused about where she was or what she was doing? Or did something else happen? Surveillance video captured her last known movements. She was seen walking near the hotel on Bel Air Boulevard. The footage shows her moving on foot, alone, in the evening hours of December 11th. Her father, Raul, had flown to Houston as soon as he heard she was missing. He checked into a hotel in the area, desperately searching for his daughter. And here's the heartbreaking part. Surveillance footage later showed Sydney walking just 150 yards away from the hotel where her father was staying. 150 yards. That's about the length of 1.5 football fields. She was so close to safety, so close to her father who was looking for her. Raul told reporters, "She was trying to get to our hotel, but for some reason or another, she kept going westbound on Harwin Drive. That's the last footage we have." Why didn't she make it to the hotel? Did she get disoriented? Was she afraid of something? Did someone intercept her? The surveillance footage from that night shows Sydney walking northbound along the sidewalk on Ranchester Road. Tim Miller from Texas EquiSearch reviewed the video and said something crucial. It didn't look like she was in distress, like a normal walk, not running, not staggering. So Sydney wasn't running from someone. She wasn't stumbling or appearing injured. She was walking normally, as if she had a destination in mind. But what was that destination? From December 11th to December 16th, Sydney vanished completely. No sightings, no camera footage, no phone activity because she didn't have her phone. For 5 days, she was a ghost. And then, on December 16th, something happened that changed everything. The bus stopped sighting. December 16th, 2025, 11:45 p.m. The corner of Harwin and Gessner in Houston. A witness reported seeing a woman matching Sydney's description at a metro bus stop. The woman was wearing what appeared to be a blanket, and she wasn't alone. According to the witness, 2 men were with her. And when someone at the bus stop tried to offer the woman a phone to make a call, these 2 men allegedly stopped her from taking it. Let that sink in. Someone tried to help Sydney contact her family or authorities, and 2 men prevented her from doing so. Who were these men? Were they trying to help her, or were they keeping her isolated? Were they strangers who approached her at the bus stop, or had she been with them for days? The witness told Sydney's father that she may have boarded Metro bus Route 46 heading northbound with these 2 men. Sydney's family immediately contacted Metro police. They requested surveillance footage from the bus. And here's where things get complicated. Metro police confirmed they successfully retrieved the video and turned it over to the Houston Police Department. But what does the video show? Houston police haven't released that information publicly. Did the video confirm it was Sydney? Did it show her boarding with 2 men? Did it show where she got off the bus? We don't know. And that silence is agonizing for Sydney's family. If Sydney did board that bus, where did she go? Route 46 travels north through Houston, but buses make dozens of stops. She could have gotten off anywhere. She could have transferred to another bus. She could have walked away into a completely different part of the city. And if she was with 2 men who prevented her from using a phone, that raises terrifying questions. Was Sydney being controlled? Was she being trafficked? Was she in immediate danger? Or is there another explanation? Could the men have been trying to protect her from making a call during a mental health crisis? Could they have been homeless individuals who didn't want police involvement? Could the witness have misunderstood what they saw? Texas EquiSearch, a nonprofit organization that helps locate missing persons, joined the search effort. Tim Miller, the founder, has been searching for Sydney with her family. But he admitted, "We're back to square one, and again it's process of elimination. This area is now eliminated, so we have to keep moving forward." Translation: they have no idea where Sydney is. The bus sighting gave them hope, but it led nowhere concrete. What's even more frustrating is that Houston is a massive city. Over 2 million people, hundreds of square miles, countless places someone could disappear into, especially someone experiencing a mental health crisis who doesn't want to be found. Sydney's family has been passing out flyers throughout Houston. They've visited businesses near where she was last seen. They've reviewed surveillance footage from dozens of cameras. They've begged the public for help. And Houston police? They're investigating. But missing person cases involving adults who may have left voluntarily are incredibly difficult. Sydney is an adult. She's legally allowed to disappear if she wants to. Unless there's evidence of foul play, police resources are limited. But her family knows something is wrong. This isn't Sydney choosing to start a new life. This is Sydney, unmedicated and experiencing a mental health crisis, vulnerable and alone in a city where anything could happen to her. The search and investigation. The Houston Police Department Missing Persons Unit has assigned case number 1618418-25 to Sydney's disappearance. But what does that actually mean for the investigation? Here's what investigators are likely doing. They're reviewing surveillance footage from every camera in the area where Sydney was last seen. Houston has thousands of cameras, traffic cameras, business security cameras, residential Ring doorbells. Finding Sydney in that footage is like searching for a needle in a haystack. They're interviewing witnesses. That includes the friends Sydney was visiting in Houston. At least one friend was questioned by investigators and cleared of any involvement. But what about others? Did anyone see Sydney acting strangely before she disappeared? Did she tell anyone what she was planning? They're checking hospitals and shelters. Someone experiencing a mental health crisis might seek help at an emergency room. Or they might end up at a homeless shelter if they're confused and disoriented. They're monitoring public transportation. If Sydney boarded that bus on December 16th, did she use it again? Did she transfer to other routes? Houston's metro system keeps records of all activity. They're working with advocacy groups. FIEL, an immigrant rights organization, joined the search effort. Texas EquiSearch has volunteers on the ground. These organizations have resources and experience that can help locate missing persons. But here's the problem. Sydney left without her phone. That means there's no phone data to track, no GPS location, no calls or texts to trace, no social media activity to analyze. She's completely off the grid. And if she's with people who don't want her to be found, whether that's for sinister reasons or because they think they're helping her, then finding her becomes exponentially harder. Sydney's father, Raul, has been in Houston searching for his daughter since she went missing. He told reporters, "It's been a nightmare ever since we found out my daughter was missing. It's been tough for the whole family." He's torn between staying in Houston to search and going back to El Paso where his family needs him. "I'm torn because leaving Houston is like leaving my daughter, and I don't want to give up, and that's why we need support from the community." All Raul wants for Christmas is his daughter back safe. But Christmas came and went. Sydney is still missing. Her mother, Luz, is desperate for answers. She told News Nation, "She had a lot of reasons to be continuing with her plans in her life, and she left a lot of things down here in El Paso." Sydney's belongings are still in El Paso. Her future is still waiting for her there. But she hasn't come home. What do you think happened to Sydney? Let us know in the comments. Theories and possibilities. So what happened to Sydney Marquez? There are several possibilities, and none of them are comforting. Theory 1. Mental health crisis leading to wandering. Sydney has bipolar schizophrenia and wasn't consistently taking her medication. It's possible she's experiencing a prolonged mental health episode that's causing her to wander aimlessly. She may not know where she is or how to get help. She may be sleeping rough, moving from place to place, trying to make sense of a reality her brain is distorting. This theory is supported by the fact that she left her phone and belongings behind. During a mental health crisis, someone might believe those items are tracking them or that they need to shed their old identity. The surveillance footage showing her walking calmly also fits this theory. She wasn't running from danger, she was just walking. But if this is what's happening, Sydney is in serious danger. Houston winters can be cold at night. She's vulnerable to assault, exploitation, or medical emergencies. And the longer she's unmedicated, the worse her mental state could become. Theory 2. Voluntary disappearance. Some missing person cases involve adults who choose to disappear. Maybe Sydney felt overwhelmed by her diagnosis. Maybe she wanted to escape her life and start fresh somewhere else. Maybe she's out there, alive, but doesn't want to be found. But this theory doesn't quite fit. Why leave your phone but take nothing else? How would you survive without money, ID, or resources? And if Sydney wanted to disappear, why was she walking toward her father's hotel? Theory 3. Abduction or exploitation. This is the theory Sydney's family fears most. A young woman, experiencing a mental health crisis, alone at night in a major city. She's the perfect target for predators. Sex trafficking is a real problem in Houston. Interstate highways like I-45 make it easy to transport victims. Someone in Sydney's vulnerable state could be easily manipulated or coerced. The bus stop sighting with two men who allegedly prevented her from using a phone fits this theory disturbingly well. Were those men traffickers? Were they controlling her movements? But there's also no evidence of foul play. No witnesses reporting a struggle. No signs of violence. Just a woman getting on a bus with two men. Theory 4. Accidental death. It's possible Sydney had an accident and is deceased somewhere in Houston. She could have fallen, been hit by a vehicle, or suffered a medical emergency. Her body could be in a location that hasn't been searched yet. This is the outcome no one wants to consider, but it's a possibility that can't be ignored. What does the evidence tell us? The surveillance footage shows Sydney walking calmly, not in distress. That suggests she wasn't being chased or immediately threatened on December 11th. The bus stop sighting on December 16th, if it was really her, shows she was alive 5 days after disappearing. That's significant. It means she survived nearly a week on her own without her phone or resources. But the fact that 2 men allegedly stopped her from using a phone is deeply concerning. That's not normal behavior. That's controlling behavior. Houston police have the bus surveillance footage, but haven't released what it shows. Does that mean it didn't confirm Sydney's presence? Or does it mean they're investigating something they don't want to reveal yet? What do you think could have been done differently to prevent Sydney from disappearing? Let us know in the comments below. As of today, December 30th, 2025, Sydney Marquez has been missing for 19 days. 19 days without her phone. 19 days without her medication. 19 days of her family not knowing if she's alive or dead. The Houston Police Department is still investigating, but they need the public's help. This is where you come in. If you live in Houston or the surrounding areas, look at Sydney's photo carefully. She's 5 feet 4 inches, 120 pounds, brown eyes, reddish-brown hair. She has a 4-leaf clover tattoo on her left wrist. She was last seen wearing gray pants, a gray hoodie, a beige shirt underneath, and tennis shoes. She may be wearing a blanket or other found clothing by now. If you see someone matching Sydney's description, don't approach if you feel unsafe. Call Houston Police Department immediately at 832-394-1840. Call Texas X Search at 281-309-9500. Reference case number 1618418-25. Sydney's father ended his public plea with this. If you see my daughter, if she's endangered, please don't stay quiet. If you see something, if you know something, please say something. Time is critical in missing person cases. The first 48 hours are the most important, and we're far beyond that now. But Sydney could still be alive. She could still come home. Her family hasn't given up. The searchers haven't given up. And we can't give up either. This isn't just another true crime story. This is an active case. Sydney Marquez is still out there somewhere. And finding her might depend on someone watching this video recognizing her face. Share this video. Share Sydney's photo. Make her face impossible to ignore. Someone out there has seen her. Someone out there knows something. The best Christmas gift would have been bringing Sydney home. That didn't happen. But maybe, if enough people see this, she can still make it home for New Year's. Sydney, if you're watching this somehow, your family loves you. They're not angry. They just want you safe. Please reach out. Please come home. To everyone else, keep your eyes open. Sydney Marquez is 24 years old. She has a neuroscience degree. She has a family that's desperate to find her. And she deserves to be found. If you have any information, call Houston Police at 832-394-1840 or Texas X Search at 281-309-9500. Help us bring Sydney home.